Hello and welcome.
John, I didn't say I was ready.
Oh my god, you totally did. You liar. Liar.
I just didn't know it was now.
It's totally now.
Hi.
Oh, wait a minute. What did I
Go
say? Was I introducing us?
You said hello and welcome.
Oh, hello and welcome.
Yeah,
to
you really nailed that
One
part.
foot on the ground.
This is Johnny.
And this is Ashley.
And today we're watching...
The Killing by Stanley Kubrick, which was 1956.
Look at you.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 1956. So proud, finally.
I actually...
I first looked up the TV show.
A fun fact is that I wrote down for a friend recently, not too long ago, I wrote down all of Stanley's films in chronological order, because of course I'm going to know that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if I can guess the dates. Because I know which some of them are. You know what I mean? Like, I'm definite on some dates.
Yeah.
But
Not
I was
just the
like-
year, like the full date.
Well, no, the year.
Okay.
For sure, the year. I don't remember release dates and shit like that.
Well, those are also funny.
Yeah.
Like, was it initial release, the wide release? Like,
Exactly.
there we go.
There's too many things. And
Yeah.
that's like even Prince ones. I'm not going to give you any of that shit because and it's, the European release date and this. No, I'm not going to ever remember any of those release dates. I do know that the single for Let's Pretend We're Married came out on my birthday. So that was November 16th. But that's the only release of Prince's that came out on my birthday.
That one movie Sandra Bullock was in, Premonition, came out on my birthday, and I
Look at
remember
you.
that.
A Harry Potter, actually a couple of Harry Potters came out around my birthday. One of them on my birthday. Fantastic Beasts, the last one, came out on November 16th.
Look at
Or the
us
most
and our
recent.
birthday stuff.
Grindelwald.
I only remember Premonition.
Well, I do, because October,
Yeah.
esque is when the Harry Potters would normally come out.
Why is
Except
that?
for the last two, I think they were summer films.
Wasn't that for a reason for the Harry Potters?
Well, I think mood. Like October/November, fall kind of thing.
Because they witches?
Yeah, exactly. Stereotypes.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I know that, like, Star Wars movies were always released
Those are summer films, right? Or were they November? Or
December.
December? They still are.
They would release closer to the first one's release date whenever they did re-releases and such.
Oh,
If I'm
interesting.
remembering correctly, I remember them always releasing sometime funny because they were always trying to get closest to that date. But I
Interesting.
also
Okay.
remember, what was it, Rogue One or The Force Awakens? One of those two. They were Christmas.
Yeah, I think
It was like the 21st.
all of the new ones have come out around Christmas.
Yeah, but that's like a heavy hitting.
Like 6, 7, 8, or no, 7, 8, 9.
Mhm.
7, 8, 9. Well, the 9th is coming out
Yeah.
this December.
Yeah, that's like a heavy hitting date. Like Christmas Day is the busiest day of the year at a movie theater.
Yeah,
So
I did know
like,
that.
Yeah, it's when you got like
Nutsos,
yeah,
crazy
you have like these
nutsos.
big movies, and then you have like these little teeny tiny little ones that are like, we're here too,
We're here too.
in case those other things
I'll
are
be
sold
home
out.
for Christmas. Which probably came out around the time. So we could start. Oh, we could start the movie. We are watching the Criterion release, of course, because it's the one I own.
That's the only, if Criterion is available, it's the only one John will own.
Yeah, for sure, especially Stanley Kubrick.
Is Arrow Video part of Criterion in some way?
No, that's a foreign. Oh, they don't only do foreign, do they?
No, they don't only do
No,
foreign.
they
They
don't
do a lot
do
of like horror.
Because I have one right here, literally, right next to
But
it.
they do, yeah, because they go on sale when around Criterion.
But this one is a foreign release.
Yes.
This one I bought on the internets. This is Irma Vep that I have in my hand right now, which is an amazing film that was about a filmmaker remaking the Les Vampires series, which is a silent film series by Louis, I can't say his name, Fulaud, I think?
Nailed it.
Fulaud?
Yeah,
Sure,
it's
why not?
definitely feel odd.
Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, this film opens with some beautiful footage of Is it kind of loud? I don't know if
A
it's
horse
kinda loud.
derby.
Horse
A
derby
racetrack.
races, doodads. Alexander Singer, he's a person of note, I guess.
Well, that's why his name was bigger than everyone else's.
Exactly. He was a producer. There's a lot of names that'll pop up on here, like Ruth Sabatka, I think is how you say it.
Tell me about
That's
her. Or him.
Stanley Kubrick's first wife? Maybe, first or second? I can't remember.
They were married.
They were definitely married. It's based on Clean Break, which is a novel that producer James B. Harris purchased at a little store in Brooklyn, maybe? The Bronx? One of those two. Stanley's from the Bronx.
Stanley's from the Bronx.
Yes. But he bought this little novel and he read it and he was like, hey, Stanley, this might be the perfect thing for our first feature together. Because they met previously after Stanley made The Killing. Well, actually, they met before that. But, and then he made the film Killer's Kiss.
Okay.
And he invited James to come see it. He's like, hey, you should come see my movie that I made, because I made a movie since I've seen you. And he said, okay, I'll go see it. And he said, well, it was okay. It was pretty good. He said it had a start, a middle, and an end. But Stanley had made that all by himself. Like, he photographed it, he edited it, and he did all of the sound post-production. All of
wow.
it. So he had
That's
to
a
dub
lot
the
of
entire
work.
film. In fact, the woman that plays the main lead woman, she was completely done by a different woman's voice because she wasn't available to do the dialogue later.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So, anyway, so James B. Harris and him, they got together and they were like, because James B. Harris he worked for distribution, I think, in the film industry. And he said, I really would like to produce films. He said, and then Stanley, of course, wanted to direct films. So he's like, well, let's work together.
Yeah.
So this was the first thing they did together, basically, was The Killing. And when they read the book, it has a non-linear storyline.
Okay.
So they wanted to, that was the excitement of the book, so they wanted to recreate that for the film. So they did. They did this. So this is one of the first films to have this non-linear storyline where you jump back and forth, and basically they're showing you the robbery from every point of view from every character that was involved in the robbery.
Right.
Because it was a joint effort between all the people. I think there's 7 versions of the story throughout this.
So, like the 5 criminals, right? And
Yeah.
then I
wanna
can't remember
say-
their names. The detective? Is that who he is?
I don't think the detective has his own. I think Mary Windsor does.
Okay.
Well, no, because I guess Mary Windsor would be part of Elijah. Maybe it's just 5 storylines.
Okay.
Maybe. I can't remember. But, like, it starts off with this dude. I can't remember anybody's names. I'm bad with names. But,
Yeah.
but it starts off with this guy who likes to drink, which is not good.
His name's like Elijah something.
No, that's Elijah Cook Jr. right
It's
there.
like-
And he's actually, you'll notice him. Like, he's a pretty popular face for films. I wrote down some of his work. Loads of films I wrote. He was in an episode of Dick Tracy, which I thought was kind of fun. Kind of fitting for us. He was in The Maltese Falcon. And he was in Don't Bother to Knock with Marilyn Monroe. He played her brother or cousin. Whatever it was, he was at the hotel that she was going to come and babysit at. And that's how she, like, because he worked there. And she was called in to babysit this girl in the apartment or whatever it was, the room.
Yeah.
And then she fell in love with the guy that, I can't remember the whole thing. I mean, it's a fantastic film. We're not going to go into all that. That's a different film. But anyway.
Right on.
Oh, I wrote down more. House on Haunted Hill. He was in that. And I love the fact this is a fun little factoid.
What year was the house on the hill?
I didn't write it down.
Okay. Keep going.
Sorry. I should have written down the dates.
No,
But I did not.
no. You're fine.
The original.
Okay.
Back in the days.
Yes.
Before
I
1960. But a clip of him in that film is used frequently in Freakazoid, the animated series that I absolutely adore.
Yes.
And it's of Elijah Cook Jr. specifically. Like,
What's the clip?
I think it's him screaming or something. It's like every time they show like a horror thing or something horrible happens in the show, they cut to him like screaming, ah! Or something like that. I can't remember.
1959.
There you go.
Thank you.
Then he went on to do in 1961 One-Eyed Jacks, which is kind of an interesting story.
What's that
Because
story?
it was supposed to be a Stanley Kubrick film, One-Eyed Jacks. It was supposed to be a Western directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Marlon Brando. And something happened. I'm not exactly sure about the whole story because I forgot or I didn't care.
One or the other.
Somehow Marlon Brando was like, F this, I'm going to direct it myself. So he ended up directing it himself. And Stanley Kubrick was tossed away. Which is probably, I don't remember any of that. I have actually never seen it. I always meant to, and I just never have. But I thought it was interesting that not only him, but several people from Stanley's camp ended up in that film, including Timothy Carey, who's in this. And I wanted to say there was one more, but I don't think there was. This is...
Why didn't Stanley do it?
I can't remember. I mean, I think just basically Marlon Brando wanted to do it himself.
Oh, okay.
So he fired him or something.
He was like, bye.
Bye, bitch. So we gotta also... Oh my god, there's so much to talk about with this beautiful film. Well, this is Sterling Hayden. We've been introduced to him now. We kind of missed one of the subplot people things. There's so much that goes on in this movie.
People thing?
One of the elements of the robbery. Because it's all
Or they were
told,
like passing it to...
Yeah, they're passing
bookies.
information to get in... Yeah. You know what I mean? They're setting up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you're not, like I said, you're not watching it in chronological order. You're watching everything out of order. So
Right.
you're getting bits and pieces of the plan while you actually get pieces of the robbery. Mm-hmm. Like, we just saw basically what happened with some of the robbery. Does that make sense?
Where they were passing notes around?
Like, at the
Derby?
At the Derby.
Yeah.
Like, they were passing notes, and the robbery was happening while that was going on.
Right.
I don't know if we know that or not
I
yet.
don't think we know that yet.
It's also confusing. It's not when you're watching the film, but it's,
Yeah.
it can be when you're trying to talk about it. Which is why I encouraged people to watch this ahead of time. Because then it might make more sense. But anyway, so this is Sterling Hayden, and we know him from our 9 to 5 experience. Yeah. He was at the end of that.
He was the big boss.
He was. And he's very Sterling Hayden.
Yeah.
Yesterday, in preparation for this whole situation, I decided to watch the special features of this Blu-ray. And one of them was interviews that he supposedly did in 1984, but I do not believe that because we just watched 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And that was 1980, and he looked terribly old in that movie.
Yes.
And he did not look that old
I
in
was
these
literally
interviews.
just looking at him and thinking, man, he looks terribly old in 9 to 5.
Well,
Yeah. But
He's-
he didn't look as old in the interview?
No, he did not. So I'm assuming they probably filmed it like in maybe the late 70s and then aired it in 84. Because there's no way that he was older than he was in 9 to 5 in those interviews.
Unless
There's
they
no way.
aged him in 9 to 5.
Maybe,
for
but that would be
some
really
reason.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we were talking about how he was looking off camera a lot because
He couldn't
he
remember
couldn't
his
remember
lines.
his lines. And in this interview, he was very coherent throughout his whole interview. I mean, I guess he's not really reading lines, but
He's just talking. He's
he's
answering
just talking
questions.
about things.
Yeah.
And he's just so weird. He's very Sterling Hayden no matter what. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bad actor, but it's almost... I want to compare him to a modern actor.
We've talked about this, like how Adam Sandler is always Adam Sandler.
Basically, yeah. And
Yeah.
Sterling Hayden was always Sterling Hayden.
Yeah.
But he was brought in to give a film a certain... Like in
Tone,
9 to
yeah.
5. He comes in as the big boss of the end with a cowboy hat on. You know what I mean? Like, he's a manly man that smokes a cigar. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
who he is. So... He's like that and everything, and he's like that in real life. When I was watching those interviews, I was like, "This is amazing!" Like, and he was like, he had a beverage of some sort, and I don't know what it was, but it was in a mug, a really weird looking mug, and he kept like swirling it really wide And I was like, what is he doing? Who does that? Sterling Hayden does. But I also love his face. He has a beautiful face in a weird way.
Like in a very square way.
I don't know, especially his eye.
Yeah, that's where it squares the most.
His, what is that, forehead.
Yeah.
And it has all these wrinkles in it that are very defined.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he has a certain expression, like he raises his eyebrows and he has this fantastic wrinkled forehead. I love it. And all I could think was, he's a handsome man. I'd say yes. So now we're with Elijah Cook. So it jumps all over the place. We can't talk about too many people at once. Oh my God. But this is Elijah Cook Jr. and the beautiful Mary Windsor. And Mary Windsor, I wrote some stuff down for her too.
Tell me about her.
I love this woman. Now, I have to go back and watch some other films of hers, but because I wrote down, she was in Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday. With
Go ahead.
thank you, Jodie Foster. Totally lost it for a
I was
second.
about to say Jamie Lee Curtis.
Not that one, no.
She wasn't in the one with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee?
No, I don't think she was alive
No
for that.
other one exists.
Shut up. No, I prefer the Jodie
I knew
Foster
you'd hate
one.
that
But
one, I'm
the
sorry.
Freaky Friday was pretty good, the remake.
Yeah.
I did like it. I
Yeah,
loved it
wait,
when
yeah.
loved it when
Jamie Lee started playing the guitar? Is that right?
No. I was going to say when she still sees herself in the mirror, she's like, I look like the Crypt Keeper. I say that all the time.
You do.
I do. So, Mary Windsor in this is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Like, she's listing off, like, all the stuff that she's going to have for dinner. And he's like, well, I don't smell it. It's all down at the shopping center. You have to go get
You're
it.
too far away.
Because basically she's like, if you see these two together, she's like this tough, tall, broad kind of situation, and he's like this little man. And obviously she married him for convenience because she thought he had money, and he was going to come into money or whatever, and he didn't. So now
so
she's
she messed
stuck
up.
with this
Yeah.
short little man that she has no interest in. Oh, there she is. She's talking about it now, like why she married him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyway, she's immaculate. She looks gorgeous. But her lines, all of her dialogue in this is hysterical.
I really like how the composition of, like, these images really portrays that, like, she sees herself higher than him.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like, he's always, like, smaller.
And
these
this
angles.
is very Stanley. Very Stanley. Which we have to talk about. We have to talk about camera placement and camera movement in this film specifically because it is important. I mean, it's important for my love of Stanley.
Yeah. But it's also, for the film, very intentional.
Yes, it
Yes.
is. I also wanted to put, before I forget, she was in Salem's Lot, the television film. Mm-hmm. And so was Elijah Cook Jr.
Oh, look at
They
them.
were in that together.
Look at them.
Yeah. We'll talk about other people when they come up. But,
Okay.
and he was also in Rosemary's Baby. Just, if people will recognize him when they see him if they watch his film.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, if they're familiar with films, I guess.
If they've ever seen
if you
a
haven't
movie.
seen any of those movies, then you wouldn't recognize him at all. But he has a very memorable face.
He really does.
Yeah.
I like it. I like his face.
So, the camera and lighting and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Stanley did have a director of photography for this, which was Lucian Ballard, I believe. Did I write it down? I don't think I did. I believe it's Lucian Ballard. Am I right?
Keep going.
Right? Whatever. It could be Lucian Ballard. But, which he was a famous cinematographer at the time. And for Stanley, it wasn't really... No matter who it was with Stanley Kubrick, if you were brought in as a director of photography, for the most part, you were there because of the union. Does that make sense? Like, you had to have a director of photography as a job on your film set.
Right.
But Stanley would technically just film everything himself and set everything up himself.
And just be like, go get me a coffee.
Like, could you go, why don't you move the camera? Like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't really, I mean, all of his film, and any handheld footage in any Stanley Kubrick film is always going to be by Stanley Kubrick.
Ooh, do you want to explain the difference between, for our audience, the difference between a director and a director of photography?
The director, well, The director of photography is specifically for the placement of the camera and lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the director obviously can have an influence on those things,
Yes.
no matter what, in any situation.
The director's the overall vision.
Yeah, the overall vision is the director, but the director of photography is there specifically to make sure that everything's lit perfectly and everything's where it should be, and when the camera's going to move from point A to point B, he needs to figure out how that's going to happen, make sure it works well, all that kind of stuff. So, but the overall composition will probably be dictated by the director.
Right.
So, like, if he wants the camera to be here, looking at that over there, it needs to be there. And that's what I was going to bring up with this. Stanley, obviously he gave a lot of instruction, which Lucien was not. Was it Lucien Ballard, by the way?
Oh, I'm looking it up.
He gave him lots of instructions about how to do things. And he was not used to that. He's like, I'm usually the one that, has this going my way. Like, well, what's going on here? So Stanley would come in early. He'd set up his shots that he wanted. And Lucien would come in later and be like, okay, well, this is normally my job.
Lucien Ballard.
Okay, I was right. So what he did was... What happened was... Oh my God. I'm missing out on all this fun stuff because there's so much
we
stuff
got
on.
it. You got it.
She's with her lover now. And she's telling him the plans that Elijah Cook had told her. So now she's telling her lover. And they had a beautiful fade out just then with some funny music where basically they had sex. Which is always one of my favorite things. It's like it fades out while they kiss. And it's like... And now they're embracing on the sofa together. I just love that so much. So when I was watching this with one of my boyfriends years ago, I said, they fucking had sex. He thought it was funny, and I thought it was funny. I was very quick-witted. So anyway. So what I was going to say was, with this particular film, Stanley had it set up so that it's almost like you're looking at a cross-section of the apartments that they're in. Does that make sense? Like, one side is opened. So, if there's 3 rooms in the apartment, you see all 3 rooms like a dollhouse.
Oh, okay, yes.
Or Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Wes Anderson film. Like, you see the cross-section. So, but you don't see that, but Stanley did it on purpose so that he could move a camera with the actor going through each room.
Right.
So... That's how, and look at this lighting. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. They're being lit from underneath by a lamp. It's so gorgeous.
What's that called? That's called something when you use
look at her with
practical lighting within the set to light the actors.
Practical.
Dang it!
That's what it's
Dang
called.
me.
It's practical lighting. Stanley loved practical lighting.
Yeah.
Loved it. And in fact, later in his films, like because he was a photographer before he was a filmmaker, which was a very important thing. And that's why this whole Lucien Ballard thing happened, which I still haven't finished telling you that story. But, because I swear to God I'll get to it. There's just so much going on. So...
That's fine, we have time.
But Stanley did, he loved lighting things logically. Like, he did not like there to be artificial light sources for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He knew that there had to be some of those things, but he chose mostly not to. So when he later, like when he did 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he knew all the people at NASA because he was in contact with them for authenticity, and he wanted to make sure everything was going to be as accurate as humanly possible for his film. So he knew that they were working on these lenses.
Should do that one.
Oh my God, yes. Zeiss lenses. We're going to do all of his at some point, believe me. In fact, I'm kind of mad we didn't start with this Killer's Kiss, but it's fine.
When you were writing down the movies in chronological order, were you like, should have been recording these in chronological order?
We should have. I mean, I picked this one because we've talked about it several times, so I figured this was fun.
Yeah, and now I know the year and that it's not the TV show.
Yes, exactly. This is not the television show, if you notice.
There's no Kevin Bacon to be found.
So,
DP.
So he worked, anyways, Zeiss lenses. He eventually got ones that were going to be used for photographing stars in space, so that he could film things in very low lighting and still pick it up, which is what he used for Barry Lyndon. When he filmed that, he filmed most of it with candlelight.
Yeah.
So it did give you a flatter image, but at the same time, you got to see authentically what it would have been like at the time.
Yes.
He did not want to have any artificial light. There's only one scene that's artificial lit, which is funny because it's my favorite scene. But it just so happens that it's my favorite scene. It's when they first fall in love and kiss for the first time. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, whatever. So, for this film...
it really takes me out of the moment, though.
look at the lighting, though. I love this lighting. Mm-hmm. And this is all kind of... The camera angles and the lighting for this film kind of give you a foreshadowing of what he does with Dr. Strangelove, which is the film
I have that one
a few years later. Because Strangelove was, what, 63, I think. I believe it was 63.
I believe you're right, to be honest. Because I was literally just looking at that movie.
Oh, but I was going to say, with the chronological films, making the list for my friend, I got all the dates correct. I was so excited about that.
All you needed was the first one and the last one, and then you're fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of good. Because he did kind of like, 50... Well, this was 56. So
64.
64. Okay, I was close. Because with 55 was Killer's Kiss, 56 was this, 58 was Paths of Glory, right?
Oh, I was not looking at
Oh, you're
those.
not looking?
No, I was looking at Dr. Strangelove.
I was so excited I was listing them off. I thought I was getting them all right, and you're not even there.
No.
Go backwards, ma'am.
I did.
His short films are listed first.
Well, yeah.
So Killer's Kiss was what?
55.
55, 56, 57 was Paths of Glory. I thought it was 58. 60 was Spartacus. 61? 62, Lolita. So 63 we just said, right?
64.
Or 64. So this is where he starts staggering because he's working longer.
Well, they're
on
also
his
getting
films.
bigger. Yeah, all the movies are getting bigger and bigger. So 64 would be Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I can't believe you didn't finish that. You always say full titles. I'm so disappointed.
Especially with that one. I love the trailer, the original trailer. He says, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, a moving picture. I love that. 68 was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
71 was A Clockwork Orange. 75, of course, Barry Lyndon.
Right on.
1980 was The Shining.
Yeah.
87, Full Metal Jacket. And 99.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to do all of them. He doesn't have a huge amount, so we can do all of them.
He doesn't, no.
But he took his time and made sure they were all perfect. And they are. So there you go. So as I was going to say with this film, so he set up the shots, right? And Lucien Ballard was like, so what Stanley had, like I said, he had the cut section or the cross section of the apartments, and he wanted specifically to follow actors so that you'd get a depth. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you'd see the action of the actor moving, but there'd be all kinds of stuff
going on in between.
Yes. Like chairs and tables and lamps or what have
stuff that people have in their homes.
Collective stuff that you'd have in your house.
Yeah.
And what had happened was, Stanley put down the tracks and where the camera was going to go. Had it all set up, and Lucien saw it, and he was like, if you use a different lens, you can be closer to the action. So he moved it. And Stanley came in and was like, oh, hell to the no. Girl, you best put this back real quick or you're not coming back to my set. And that's basically how that went. And Lucien was not very happy, but he finished the job. I don't think they worked together again, though.
Oh, wow.
No. I think John Alcott was probably his most famous director of photography.
Sounds like an easy gig.
Well, for Stanley, you don't have to do much.
Yeah.
You have to be there and get a paycheck.
Be compliant, yeah.
I would collect a paycheck for that. It'd be fine. But, so that's how that worked.
Right on.
But I've actually, when I was watching this, the behind the scenes yesterday for this, the James B. Harris interview, they showed a lot of the behind the scenes photographs of this, which I've never really seen a whole lot of that. I think they're in my Stanley Kubrick archive book.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah, but with all my nerdy shit. But obviously this is not one that I don't think they talked extensively about. I mean, they're going to talk about the bigger ones a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, but it was fascinating to see the sets and how he had it lit, basically. Like he had, like practical light, not practical lighting, but imitation of practical lighting.
Yes.
Like he'd have cutout windows higher up that have lights coming through them, so it looks like there's light coming through a window. But there's not. It's fake!
No!
It's movie magic! This was also another thing. Like, this woman doing this.
There are so many lamps in this room, though. There's like 8 lamps.
I'm sorry, my throat is very dry. It's probably because I'm talking so much. But, like, this is a big deal. This woman putting cream on her face to get rid of her makeup.
Why?
Like, this is
because this is the 50s?
Yeah, like, you don't show this kind of stuff. And it was also interesting that she would be doing this in front of her husband. This is how much the lack of respect she has
for him. Yeah.
Because this is not something you would do in front of your husband. This is something you would do privately.
After he goes to bed.
Yeah.
And then before he wakes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like in, what was that show?
Marvelous Miss Maisel?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. In fact, this is around the same time as that.
Yes.
So, yeah. But yes, Stanley was, like I said, a photographer before he was a filmmaker. And if you ever look through his old photographs, which I have several books about that.
Yes.
But
I've seen them.
It's so fascinating because it's almost like any kind of time, or not time, any old film, no matter what, like if from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. It fascinates me. You look at it now, like you watch this now, and you're like, oh, it's a period film because they're in period costumes. And it's like, no, that's what they actually dress like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It fascinates me. Like, does that make sense? Like if I watch Les Vampires.
Okay.
Or whatever. I'm watching it and I'm like, that's what they actually wore. Like, it's not like they're wearing a costume for this movie. It's like, that's the kind of thing they actually would have worn at the time.
Is it still considered a period piece if
No.
you're recording it
It's a contemporary film.
Okay.
But, you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Your head, it's like your brain isn't... does that make sense?
Tell me about my brain, John.
Your brain, man! It's looking at something like, well, mine anyway. It's like looking at it like... Well, there's a lot of attention to detail with this period costume. It's like, no.
That's just what they had around.
That's what was laying around.
Yeah, that was
house.
what was in the local stores.
Yeah, they went down to the local Five and Dime and bought the dress that she wears here.
And all the cloths that she puts on the lamps. Actually, there's no cloths on these lamps.
No, I think that's when she's with her lover.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
She's
to dim the lighting,
mood,
yeah.
Look at her trying to seduce her husband. Oh, my.
Oh, man.
Another fade out with some music.
Yeah.
They had sex. Academy of Chess and Checkers. Huh?
He said he had a foot on the ground, didn't he, when they were in the bed just now?
Oh, he did, yeah. He was halfway off the bed. Did you see that, by the way?
What?
So he walks in. This is Stanley magic. He walks in the door and you see the chess and chess and checkers.
Those are both just chess.
Well, on the door, I meant it says chess and checkers,
the 15
something.
cents.
Yeah. But it said it on the door, and it was you could read it, so it didn't make much sense. And then when he backed the camera up, it's Sterling Hayden.
John.
Yeah. No, I'm.
No,
that's not what I'm saying.
I'm being a dick. Go.
Like right now,
Yeah.
see, it's backwards because you've seen it from the inside of the room.
Right.
Well, Stanley pulled back as Sterling Hayden was coming in the door, and it turns out he's filming it through a mirror that's in the corner. So you read it correctly. See, it's just tricky stuff. I love it. Now, this guy was actually, most of these people, the extras and all the bit parts, these are all people Stanley already knew. These are all his friends and stuff. So, like, this guy right here, it's a good thing there's subtitles because when I watch this without subtitles, I have no clue what the hell this man's saying. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like
he kind of like
he has a very thick accent of some sort, and it's very hard to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've ever seen what he said before. I just watched it.
I don't know how you live, John, not knowing what people say. I'm like, well, I need a subtitle.
I mean, that's just like me in music.
Well, yeah.
I do the same thing. I have no clue what they're saying, and I don't even think to look it up.
Yeah. Well, I'll look it up if, like...
We've talked about this before, haven't we?
Yeah, Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa.
There you go.
But, like, I thought he was saying, I'm gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop.
Which is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. I was like, those are real words, for sure.
Prince lyrics to this day that, like, I have looked them up. Mm-hmm. I know what they are.
But you can't remember them.
I still sing the ones that I think that they should be. Because that's what I thought they were. I do that all the time. But, so now this guy is being hired by Sterling right now to start a fight, which is what we saw at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
So we've already seen the result of this.
Yeah, but do we know that we've seen the result of this?
Not until now.
As a first-time viewer.
Well, we do now.
Right.
You saw this man at the beginning of the movie start a fight.
Okay.
Wait a minute, did you? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Because the bartender crawled away and... Yeah. Right?
I think so.
I think you're going to see more from his point of view after this scene, I think.
And then it'll connect better.
And then it'll connect better so that you know, oh, that's what that was.
Yes.
So all of it... But that's the thing. Most of the people involved in there's, 5 main guys?
Mm-hmm.
But then Sterling is hiring all these extra people to do these other little jobs that the other people don't know.
Right.
So they have no connection to the actual robbery or whatever. And they're going to get some kind of cut, but not... I think the other people know about it too, but they don't know who it's going to be or who they are or anything like that. So this is Timothy Carey. Yeah. This is Timothy Carey, another friend of Stanley's. I think he was a friend of Stanley's. Mm-hmm. But he ends up in... he was also in Paths of Glory, which he's fantastic in, by the way. He was in One-Eyed Jacks as well. He's one of the ones that carried over. And he was also in the Monkees movie, Head, which was a good movie. Have you ever seen that?
I thought you were going to say 12 Monkeys. And I was like, yes, I've seen 12 Monkeys.
No, the Monkees. Like the band?
Yes, with the double E.
With the Monkees.
People say they're monkeying around.
Yeah. They had a film called Head, which is a fantastic name for a film. And it is... Criterion actually released it at one point on Blu-ray. It was part of a collection that they did that had Easy Rider, and it had all the films that were under that... I can't remember the name of the company, but there was like a company that made all these films randomly, and then the production company kind of folded.
Yeah.
And I think it was Dennis Hopper might have had something to do with that company. But they put a box set together of all the films that I used to own it. I don't have it anymore. I wish I did. Because it had Easy Riser, it had Head, 5 Easy Pieces, and I can't remember the other ones. But fantastic cinema. Fantastic.
Right on, yeah.
So...
I love their targets. Their shooting
I love
targets.
those targets.
They're a bunch of gangsters with guns pointed at you.
I kind of want those.
Yeah. I'd hang that up.
I would totally hang that up in my house.
Absolutely.
I wonder what happened
And
to
there's
them.
like a point system, and there's a 0 for the brim and the top of the hat.
Of the hat.
Because, whenever you're in a shootout with a bunch of gangsters, you're firing hats off of people's heads, and it's a huge problem.
You get a 3 if you hit his elbow, it looks like.
Oh, he can't fire back at you
well.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Top point is 5, so that elbow's important.
Oof. Yeah, that 5. So he's being hired to shoot a horse, which not exactly the most fun.
Yeah, but that's also an easy gig.
He was resistant to it because he didn't really want to shoot a horse.
Yeah, well, what'd the horse do?
Exactly.
It's not running around.
Well, not only that, but
lives.
Hey, Triumph. Mm-hmm. Look at that in the background. That's a
Go ahead.
A brand of some sort. I can't think of what it is, though.
Is it for motorcycles?
Maybe. Or motor vehicles of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
This was a friend of Stanley Kubrick's. So he was hired as a friend to do this little job.
Right on.
So now Sterling is setting up a little shack hotel kind of situation where he can put his gun and jacket and stuff, like just a place to hide things for somebody else to come pick up and take.
Yes.
Later.
Like leaving a drop.
Yes, there you go. Leaving a drop. Leaving a drop.
Yes.
For all the people out there. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I kind of wanted the viewers to watch it at time, because it's like trying to talk about every single thing that's happening in this movie is very tricky. I love the door. It says 78 by 29, I think. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, I was like, what the hell does that mean?
It's the inches of the door?
It's the inches of the door.
That's how it's measured.
I honestly did. For the longest time, I was like, it's got to be a secret code of Stanley Kubrick. And I measured a door, and I was like, oh, it's just the size of the door.
I saw that thing. And I knew. I was like, did they just not erase it? Because they had to build the set, right? This is a set?
No, that was actually practical. I don't think that the only sets I think were their apartments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Other than that, it's all practical. Stanley loved practical.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but I figured if there's a door with its measurements marked on it, that it was part of you have door frames, you have doors.
Well, no, I mean I think that's probably just from the actual place that they used.
Yeah, and that is also.
They needed a door that was that size, and they went and picked it up at the yard and still had it on there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it is. I mean, if Stanley didn't want it there, he would have gotten rid of it. I think he probably did it on purpose.
Probably.
Left it.
So it looks like a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A trashy little place, huh?
Yeah,
because I think that's
they
basically...
don't care about attention to detail.
Well, not only that, but I think it's supposed to be... The particular location that he went to was maybe not so, it was where a lot of workers of the street would go to entertain their johns.
Sex workers?
There you go. Sex workers would go and entertain
their johns.
the
streets, like construction workers?
Yeah, those too. They pick up construction workers, bring them into a little house, and cobble some wood. God, that's not
how that works.
Dirty. That was nasty.
Right.
So now she's being sweet to him. Why is she being sweet to him?
Her husband?
Yeah. I can't remember. There's a reason.
She needs to manipulate him.
I think she needs to get the story out of him, maybe.
He shared details, and then she goes and shares those details with somebody else.
But Sterling
and it's
Hayden
not enough.
Her and basically threatened her and is like, "Hey, bitch, you need to get the fuck out my biz."
There was a tagline for this movie that I saw on one poster, which I was like, spoiler, and it was. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Most of the taglines had some variation of in all of its fury and violence, or in all of their fury and violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it'll have something else written.
Yeah.
Written after.
That makes sense.
Was this a particularly violent film?
I think so. I think it was advertised as being the most violent since Scarface. I think it's even in the trailer.
Scarface and Little Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yes.
Now, we're not talking about the Scarface with Al Pacino, which I hate.
What?
And we will never do that film.
I meant.
Or movie, I'm sorry, movie. On this
wow.
podcast. I hate that. If I had the power, I would go back in time and I'd burn the celluloid for that thing. 100%. No. I mean, not a percentage at all. No percentage. Without a doubt, I would
now everybody drink.
Everybody drink, because we said a percentage.
The other tagline I saw was, these 5 men had a $2 million secret until one of them told this woman.
And then, Mary Windsor gets a big old...
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
And they're all huddled around on the poster. I really like that poster. But I was like,
poster.
Man, that's a spoiler. Yep, and see them all in all their fury.
Yeah.
See them all in all their fury.
Now, this also, for the record, Sterling Hayden wasn't exactly a big star for this.
No, but look how big that name is on
Yes.
that poster.
He was the biggest star as far as the cast is concerned, because he had already been in Asphalt Jungle with Marilyn Monroe, and I want to say Johnny Guitar. I think he was in that, which was a Joan Crawford film.
Didn't
He played Johnny Guitar, I believe.
Didn't Frank Sinatra express interest
Yes,
in this film?
that was the thing. So when James B. Harris got the novel, and he was like, "This would be a great film," and he showed it to Stanley, and then he went to United Artists, because basically, what happened was Stanley Cooper got distribution for his film Killer's Kiss from United Artists, and it was a pretty chunk of money for him to do that.
How much?
I can't remember exactly.
That's fine. I have the answer anyway.
You do?
No, I have it for this one though.
Oh, it was like, I don't know, $25,000, something like that. It was a pretty good chunk of money for, especially at the time.
Yeah.
So, but Stanley was smart. He was very, very smart. He knew exactly what he needed to do, because basically he made the Killer's Kiss. Well, he made the first one he did was, well, big full length feature was oh shit, I'm blanking. Oh my god, I own it. I own it on Blu-ray. Fear and Desire.
Okay.
Which was a fictional war film, which was actually not that bad. I didn't hate it. A lot of people disparage it, but I thought it was a good film. Anyway, he borrowed money from his dad to make that film, and then he got distribution for that, and with that money, he basically funded Killer's Kiss.
$75,000 was their budget.
For what? For this?
For Killer's Kiss.
Oh, for Killer's Kiss.
Yes.
Okay. So he did that, and then he got distribution for it. So maybe he got more than $25,000 or whatever.
Probably. I'm not seeing United. I saw, because I was looking into the budget for this film.
one,
Yeah, because I also wanted to know what their gross was and blah. Because, I like those numbers. But $75,000 isn't a lot. Practically no budget.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any filming permits.
No,
it
was all guerrilla filmmaking.
Right on.
And he felt, that's the fun thing about watching that. It's like, that's what I was saying about like that moment in time kind of thing. Like you're looking at a postcard of New York from that time.
Yeah.
So there's like rooftop scenes where you see like the old skyline of New York, and it's like crazy. It's like, there's nothing there. It's like where is everything? It's so gorgeous. But, you see subways, like the old subways in that film. It's so much fun. Ricky
should have done it first.
Crazy. I know. We really should have done it. Because I love Killer's Kiss. I know a lot of people, even James B. Harris was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, bitch, it was pretty good. I would have been very proud of that if I had made that movie.
Right on.
100%. Oh, shit.
Nice.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Drink, kids.
Drink up,
So,
footsies. Have you...
if you're paying attention, because we're...
Do you know how much the budget was for this one?
No, I do not. I can't remember. I know that... Well, hold on. I know... To go back.
Yeah.
So, what... He had...
There was a gun in that guitar box. And now he's putting it
Johnny
in a flower
Guitar
box.
has a gun. So, he's switching out those boxes.
Classic
So-
move. That's a trope in gangster films.
Oh, there you go.
Pulling out a gun from a box of flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
I don't doubt it.
Sorry.
Well, James knew that basically what happened was Stanley had a deal with United Artists, was like, well, we like this. It was, made money for us. So if you have another film that you make at some point, let us know and we'll have distribution for you. So Stanley already had it set up. Like, well, my next feature is going to be distributed no matter what. So I'm good. We're good.
Right.
We're all good. So, and James B. Harris, I think, kind of got the wrong idea about that exactly. Because he assumed, like, okay, we'll get this together, and then we'll take it to United Artists, and we'll get money to produce the film. Does that make sense?
United Artists put forth the budget was $320,000 for this film. United Artists put up $200,000.
Okay.
And then James B had to rally up the rest of it.
Now, I think it was $10,000 that he had to spend to get the rights to the book. And what had happened was he contacted the author. It was like, we want to make this into a film. And he's like, well, Frank Sinatra's already kind of like looking at it, but he hasn't gotten back to me in a long time. So it's still available. And if you can get to it quicker, then you can have it. But you got to get to it now. So he was like, okay. So they got the $10,000 together and bought the rights to the thing. And when they brought it to United Artists, they're like, well, we already have this. Like, sort of. We're looking into this with Frank Sinatra over here.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but he hasn't gotten back to you, so we got it instead. So we would like to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, okay, but who's going to be in it? Like, what do you got for me?
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it is. Like, you got to get a name in there for us to make money off this damn thing if you make it. So...
They had Sterling Hayden.
They had Sterling Hayden. They got him.
You know how much they paid him?
No, I do not know.
I like those numbers. $40,000.
$40,000.
That's a lot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. That's why his name's so big.
Yeah, seriously. He got top billing on that shit. Now, and this was, like I said, this is before he was really big. Like, I think this helped him a lot to get big. And then, of course, Dr. Strangelove was freaking huge. But he also did something else I want to say in between.
Or I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb.
Yes, I'm sorry. I usually do say the whole thing.
Wong Fu.
Thanks for everything, Julie. So, anyway, so then when they made the film, after all the budgets and shit got together and they got to freaking make the movie, they presented it and they were like, well, wait a minute, it's all out of order. Like, what is happening? And I'm like, I don't think we can sell this to people. Like, nobody's going to want to sit and watch this way. So they started working on a cut that was going to be chronological. And in the middle of doing it, they got like maybe, I don't know, 70% done with it. And they were like, this is dumb. Why the fuck are we doing this?
It's probably significantly less interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine. It would just be very
and they said
straightforward.
that was what we loved about the book, and that's what worked. Like, it worked that way. So they were like, no, we're not doing that. So they left it the way it was, and of course it became a pretty big hit, I believe.
I don't
know about
have
your numbers.
I don't have gross. There's no
You don't have
gross.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what they made opening weekend. I don't know what they made.
I definitely know that it was a hit because he wouldn't have been able to make his next film if it hadn't been.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I could not find numbers for,
And then of course
that stuff.
his next film was just, oh my god, I love his next film, Paths of Glory, which is a spectacular piece of cinema.
Yes.
And we will absolutely do that one.
Yeah, but not next.
Not next. No.
Because we have to do them in order.
We could do... Well, okay, I would also like to point out that on the Criterion Blu-ray for this film, a bonus feature was the Blu-ray high-definition version of Killer's Kiss. And I have to say, I was honestly disappointed. Because I was like, how dare you make that a bonus feature? Like, it should have its own slot on my shelf. Now I don't have a slot on my shelf for that. I used to have the DVD, which is another thing I would like to point out. So now, knowing Stanley and the way he works and the way he was a photographer first, I knew that all of his films were impeccably photographed. But I always assumed, having seen the DVDs for Paths of Glory and The Killing and Killer's Kiss and whatnot, I just assumed he didn't have a whole lot of money. So that's why they looked the way they did. Because I was like, yeah, whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
And he did the best he could with the money that he had. It turns out MGM were just assholes and released these shitty versions of his movies on DVD.
Oh my word.
So when I saw Paths of Glory when Criterion released it, I almost died. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you ever release that horrible version of his movie? Because it's impeccably photographed. Which I should have known. That Stanley would never photograph something that badly. I was dumbfounded by how, and which is why, even though there's a bonus feature on this, I had to have, I don't want Killer's Kiss on DVD anymore because it pissed me off so bad and they fucked it up so bad. I was like, it looks like shit. All three of those did. It's like, you assholes. Of course, you're gonna make Spartacus look good. Fuck you, MGM. Because MGM distributed the first three, four, four, the first 4 films of his.
Right on.
And originally they had 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Well,
But then that was purchased by Warner Bros. And then they did the Doctor Strangelove is still, or How I Learned to Stop Running the Bomb was
There you
still. It's still not owned by Warner Brothers. I think it's Columbia Pictures has distribution for Doctor Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Running the Bomb, and so they've always had. But when they do like a Stanley Kubrick collection, originally because. Back in the day when Stanley was still alive and they were putting out the Stanley Kubrick collection, the first version, if you ever see the trailer for it and the poster for it, it has, I think, from The Killing all the way to Eyes Wide... Well, not Eyes Wide Shut, because that hadn't come out yet. Yeah, that hadn't come out yet, so... It was,
Eyes Wide Shut came out after he died?
yes. And so while he was still alive, he was working on
Age 70.
No. So young.
Yeah, he died in 1999, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he died the same year that it was released.
Yeah. It was it's such a weird story, his death, because there was technically nothing really wrong with him, but
Are you telling me he was murdered?
no, he was not murdered. Well, I mean, by his film, I suppose, because it was very stressful for him to make Eyes Wide Shut. For a reason.
Stressful movie to watch.
Well, it's a gorgeous film. Do you like it? There's like a silence that I don't really like. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Seriously, do you like Eyes Wide Shut?
Love it.
Are you just saying that to make
No.
me happy?
I'm not saying that to make you happy.
Okay.
Sometimes
'Cause it
I
is a
will
tricky
get
film.
Eyes Wide Shut, and you're gonna hate this, mixed
Oh,
up with
no,
Stir Up Echoes.
Oh, Stir Up Echoes. That is
Yeah.
not what I expected.
I think it's because the covers are similar, and I watched them at a similar time when I was younger.
The covers are similar?
That gold color. That gold hue. Hold up. I'm going to show you that gold hue.
Are you talking about the purple cover of Stanley Kubrick?
That's so
film?
funny. I know there's a purple outline. Whatever. Shut up.
Stop it with that, because it was my favorite color.
Of
Purple.
course it is. I thought that was like a
I
special
love those
feature
posters.
edition.
No. The original poster was purple.
So the frame in the center with
The mirrored frame.
with a Nikki Kidd. That there.
Tommy Tubes. Mm-hmm. Tommy Tubes.
Tommy Tubes and Nikki Kidd. Right.
Yeah,
Let's find that Kevin B. Let's find that Mr. Bacon.
Mr. Bacon's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to say, just to finish that up, because, well, I mean, we should talk about maybe more.
And look at those
during
colors
our
there.
Well, okay, but
So, and there's like, it's like, it's half faces. It's a gold and orange color. Like, in
No
my head,
purple
I mix them up.
whatsoever.
Yeah, that purple's gone. It's like a special.
I didn't hate that movie, by the way. Sir
I
Echoes.
hated the part where the girl's like scratching and her nail like breaks.
Well,
and I
that's
hated
gross,
how
yeah.
often they showed it, and that was the part that scarred me.
I loved how they photographed
only part I remember.
the dead girl.
Okay.
They photographed that very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'd remove frames so that she had like a weird jerky kind of,
Yes.
but she was a ballerina, so she moved very gracefully, but then they removed frames, so it was
Mm-hmm. Very
weird.
jarring, yeah.
And I of course freaking love Illeana Douglas, which is the girl that hypnotized him in the movie.
Okay.
Oh god, I love that woman. She needs to be in more films. I don't know why she's not. She needs to be in every film.
Maybe
ever.
she's like
She's probably busy.
doing her passion, like making jewelry.
I mean, she's on the Aerosmith ride at Disney, so she probably gets royalties for that, I'm sure.
Probably.
She gets a paycheck for that. She's like...
What a nice thing to have royalties with, though.
Any
Like
any
a
kind of,
roller
yeah.
coaster.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, that's just open
I just
every
love
day
that
of the year.
I love the actress so much. I'm pretty sure nobody that goes to see that or goes on that ride knows who the hell that woman is. But I'm like, I love her so much.
I bet you scream from the seats
I do.
too.
Like, Illeana Douglas, I love you. And everybody's like, who?
Rodney Dangerfield is
an
here.
extra in here. Yeah, I was going to say
It's
that.
his debut
I wrote
film.
that down.
He's like in one of the fight
He's
scenes.
an onlooker right here somewhere.
Somewhere. He takes a double take.
Does he really? Does he do a double take?
Yeah,
'Cause that's very Rodney Dangerfield of him.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Look how hairy this little man is.
That's like my back right there.
It's so...
I will
like,
say I'm proud of myself for not being that thick of a man.
It reminds me very much of Beast from the X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
Like his frame.
Oh, there he is. Is that him? Wait a minute, that's not him. How old is Rodney Dangerfield?
He's got to be young.
Because maybe that wasn't him, because that guy seems like he might be too old to be Rodney Dangerfield, right?
I
I have to go over this with a fine-tooth comb. Oh, by the way, so I was watching The Little Mermaid the other day on Blu-ray.
And you were going over it with a fine-tooth fork.
I kind of was going to.
That's that.
Is that him right
Isn't that
there?
him right there?
That's what I thought, but wouldn't he be too old?
I don't... He's the youngest man in that pile.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling Hayden looks about the same later in life. So that's the funny thing about like watching actors grow up in films or whatever. It's like you watch them and it definitely looks like them, just younger, but it's still, you know what I mean? Like it's just an awkward thing. Well, not awkward, but it's just funny.
Some people look vastly different.
Well,
Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Who is it? Michael C. Anthony?
Michael C. Anthony?
Wait, Anthony Michael
Michael C.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast. Oh, that guy. I can't
Anthony
remember.
Michael Hall? Michael Anthony?
Something to
All
that
right,
effect.
I can't do it, but he looks way different now.
Yeah.
Like, grown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I interrupted you and I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Rodney Dangerfield. Looking young. Growing
No,
up in
that
cinema.
was it. I mean, I finished that.
Fight breaks
I
out.
was going to talk about Stanley's death a little bit.
Talk about Stanley's
But not
death.
extensively, because we should probably save that for Eyes Wide Shut. But
Okay.
basically, just he had been working on wanting to make that film since 1960 when he read the book.
Eyes Wide
Trauma
Shut?
novel. Mhm.
Wow.
And every time he'd work with a new writer or producer or whatever, he'd give him a copy of that book and was like, I really want to make this into a film. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I don't know about that. Good luck with that, Stanley. I'm not going to help you with that one.
Yeah.
And basically, so he had it in his head that whole time, like 1960, all the way up until he made it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, like I said, everybody kept saying no. And then when after he had done Full Metal Jacket, he had started working on two things. He had started working on AI, which actually I think started earlier than Full Metal Jacket. But he had started working on AI, and when he was trying to do topiaries coming to life for The Shining, which he eventually scrapped and did The Maze instead, because he couldn't get it right. He didn't look real enough. So he's like, no, we're not doing that. And that's basically why he put AI on the back burner, because he was like, well, there's no way we can make this film if I can't make that look real. I certainly can't make artificial intelligence look real. And in fact, Chris Cunningham, who's a filmmaker, he mostly does music videos. You've definitely seen some of his music videos.
I've never seen a music video.
Yes, you have.
I've only seen Bewitched.
Oh, God.
Say la vie.
No, so he actually had Chris Cunningham, which there's so much information in my head. He had him working on an actual artificial boy, and in some of his music videos that he was making around the same time, most of it was stuff that he had been working on for Stanley Kubrick, but not in the way that you would think. Like, it was mostly the machinery or the guts of the robots that he would photograph.
Oh,
for some
man,
of those
does this
things.
boy look like, is it like Uncanny Valley stuff?
Well, no, you never got to see what the boy would have looked like. They never show.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then when he did a music video with Bjork called All Is Full of Love, which is one of the most cinematically gorgeous things I've ever seen in my life. Ever. Yes, it is. To this day, it's still one of my favorite things. It's so beautiful.
I'm gonna look it up.
But he directed that, and I always assumed that that's what he was kind of going for with Stanley Kubrick, like working on that. But that's not. But Bjork did have 2001 as a reference for that video. She's like, I
Okay.
want it to be very like 2001, where it's very stark and white and has like that whole feeling to it. But I always assumed that would have been a perfect way to do the artificial boy for artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You would have had a robot that you would use for practical scenes, and then you would digitally add the face of the actor onto it
Oh, I
later.
hate that.
I mean, but it worked. Like, if
Yeah.
you watch that music video, to this day, it still looks good. It's like, "Ah, that's so cool how they did that." She makes out with herself. It's amazing.
Oh.
But but as robots. And anyways.
so
but-
it's not gay.
no, it's not gay if it's me. So, anyway, so Stanley Kubrick, he was working on all that stuff, and then he started working on the Aryan Papers.
Mm-hmm.
But then, okay, so it's kind of like a weird order, because he and Spielberg became friends when Spielberg was filming the Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
The set had to be built for the temple scene on the same soundstage that the Shining set was built, but the Shining set caught fire and had to be rebuilt, so there was a postponement or whatever.
Yeah.
And Spielberg, and then because of that, they had to start communicating with each other, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, the set burned down. I'm like, sorry, dude, gotta wait." So they started becoming friends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why'd
but
you put that in air quotes?
I put that in air quotes
Are they
because I
frenemies?
think to Spielberg, I think they were friends, but to Stanley, it was just somebody he knew that he could utilize. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure that's how he felt about
He
it.
shot the horse.
Oh, Timothy. But now he's going to run over a horseshoe because he offended that poor black man. And boom, tires blown out, and he's going to die. So this is the first casualty, isn't it?
I love white wall tires.
Yeah, those are very nice tires.
I wanted to get
No
those
match for
my,
that horseshoe, though. So, anyways,
Also, I think it would have been fine though. I think if that car could have driven over a horseshoe and been fine.
maybe
That horseshoe.
it wouldn't have worked for the movie then.
No, it would not have.
Oh, I was gonna say, when we were watching the opening credits, he
I knew you had more for those opening
I
credits.
did. He actually, they had originally had a second unit director kind of person filming a horse race place or whatever, the Derby. And Stanley saw the footage and was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? No. So he actually had to have it photographed better for his opening sequence and everything, for all the horse racing scenes. So it had to be reshot. Because he did not like what came out of it. I think Lucian actually was the one that filmed the good stuff.
Ooh.
No, the
Oh,
good stuff, not the
okay.
bad stuff. The good
I was
stuff.
like, man, that did not go well for him,
No,
did
no,
it?
that poor guy. No,
He
no.
was like, what
a
are you doing?
Second unit person of some sort that originally did it.
Yeah.
But they, nope, they got fired. And the new stuff was filmed. Just so you know.
Right on. Right on.
So, and you see it's the exact same horse race throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
It's not like you're seeing different ones. You're seeing the same exact horse race
Yeah.
over and over and over, but just different angles, different, blah, blah, blah,
Perspectives.
blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what you're seeing for the film anyway.
Yes.
You're seeing all the different perspectives of the robbery.
Also,
So you basically hear this announcement, 5 times during this thing?
Yes.
Like the exact same announcement.
yeah, to indicate like it's a placeholder for
Yeah.
for where we are in their story.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A famous moment's coming up soon.
What moment is that?
The clown face, which I posted on our Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, like these scenes, like this whole movie inspired a bunch of different gangster type films or heist movies, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So the clown face, that particular mask was. Is it Batman? No, that wasn't in Batman. The mask in Batman that they modeled after.
It might have been.
I did not write that down. I thought I would remember that one.
But that is usually when you look up the killing and put the correct date in your Google search. Images will pop up, and usually that's the most frequent images.
Well, it's also difficult to search the killing and without a year and find what it is you're looking for?
Yeah, exactly. I told you, because that damn show.
No, not just because of that damn show. Because, like, I just typed in killing, masks. And it's
Oh.
just, like, Leatherface.
Oh, God, that's
and
true.
such coming up, yeah. Bum-ba-dum.
Or Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a pretty famous one.
Yeah, well, that's, what's his face?
William Shatner.
Look at you go. So proud.
Look at me knowing some movie facts.
Yeah.
So,
So this movie has a narration in it.
yes, it does, yes.
And I read, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that Kubrick did not want that. And the studio pushed for it. And I don't know if it's because they thought that the out-of-sequence scenes are going to be, like, too much for an audience to, like, handle or whatever. But since Kubrick didn't like it, he made the narration unreliable.
That sounds like him.
Yeah, it was just like a petty little...
Yeah, that definitely sounds like him.
He made it... he just liked it. He made it unreliable and, like, mistaken, like, it mistakes in some parts and what have you. There's the mask. Hate that
There you
mask.
go.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's not a very attractive mask.
No.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He did have narration in a lot of his films, and the funny thing is, because Dr. Strangelove has, or How to Learn to Sell Run on Bomb, has
There you go.
narration.
I don't think I didn't notice you saying 2001 instead of 2001 A Space Odyssey, though.
Oh, good God. 2001 A Space Odyssey. Jeez Louise,
Just gonna
man.
hold you to it.
Well, this is what I was going to say. I think all the films that he did... I'm trying to think in my head here. God, I feel like I need to rewatch all of his films to pay more attention to narrators, because I feel like there are more narrators. Mm-hmm. Well, I know for a fact there are. I mean, obviously, A Clockwork Orange has a narrator because
Right.
it's Alex. Barry Lyndon has a narrator. Full Metal Jacket has a narrator, Joker. Yeah, but the thing I was going to bring up was that 2001 had narration written, but then he didn't use it, and so did Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut was also written with narration, but he left it out on purpose.
Yeah, sometimes narration could be cool, but sometimes it is, like, way overdone.
Like, if the narration had been intact for 2001 A Space Odyssey, you would have known that the things orbiting at the beginning of when they jump ahead to, space, those things that he shows initially are not satellites. They're supposed to be bombs that are there to protect. If something happens, they can use them as bombs or whatever to win war. I don't know. Something. But that was written in the narration, but then he just took it out, so you just think it's like satellites or something, which probably works better to think that they're just satellites.
Okay, now when I rewatch it, it's going to be ruined because I'm going to know they're bombs.
I mean, you can take
It
whatever
won't
you
be
want. It
ruined.
doesn't matter. It's still good. It's still a good fucking film. Well, I was going to say, so he was... when Stanley Kubrick... Okay, so let's jump back ahead. Let's non-linear this. So when Stanley was working between Full Metal Jacket and Eyes Wide Shut, to give you more indication about all that. So when he was in between there, he was kind of working on several things because he didn't quite know what to do. AI was brought back up because he had seen Jurassic Park in '93 because of Spielberg. He was friendly with him. So, and I was going to say he had a fax machine in a closet. Like Stanley had one and Spielberg had one, and that was their way of communicating. Was this one fax machine? Like it was a direct line kind of thing. Like that was what it was for, was to communicate between the two of them. So that's the only way they ever communicate. I mean, I'm pretty sure they talked on the phone at some point. But Stanley was obsessed with communication. And if you ever think about it, all of Stanley Kubrick's films, the breakdown of the plot, like, or what the downfall of the characters is all due to lack of communication. In every single film.
That's like most movies, though.
Yeah, true.
That's most stories. Like, a lot of things can be resolved with, like, good communication.
Yeah, but he makes it very obvious in all of his films.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's going to happen because we stopped talking. Do you know what I mean? Or even like HAL 9000 in 2001: A Space Odyssey, it was a conflict of information that was given to him that caused the downfall of the situation because he had two conflicting things and he didn't know how to resolve them because he's a computer.
Yeah.
And it broke it up and he fucked everything. It fucked everybody in the butt.
In a bad way.
In a bad way, not in a good way. That's true. I should probably
specify. Otherwise, people are
like,
I don't
ooh, wow,
understand
2001,
what's so
that's good. That's sexy. Ooh.
It was Batman that I was thinking of. The
Oh, was
masks.
it?
Yeah. Yep, the goons and Batman have similar masks.
I like it.
I like it too. Also, Quentin Tarantino often referred to Reservoir Dogs as being like heavily inspired by The Killing.
Well, I think
non-linear,
that's where I was going to go with my fact about this being one of the first non-linear is that because a lot of people can say Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction would be like these big ones where like, oh my god, it's like crazy because this never happened before. Yeah, it has. Stanley did it first. Sorry, guys. Stanley does. Stanley first.
You're
Stanley's
such a
genius.
Stanley super
I'm
fan.
such a freaking nerd for Stanley.
You are.
Well, I mean, you give credit where credit's due. It's
Yeah,
like when
no,
people-
it's fine. It's perfectly
yeah.
fine to be a nerd for Kubrick.
Heck yeah. So going back to Stanley and making the film, so he saw Jurassic Park, he saw the technology, and he's like, well, okay, we could probably do AI now.
Yeah.
Now that I see those dinosaurs running around. That's pretty cool. So he's like, I think we could probably work on AI, but he started working on the Aryan Papers, which was a Holocaust film. And of course, Stanley Kubrick was Jewish, so it was a big deal for him to be doing this. Oh, this little guy right here, the sidekick here.
Hey, look at him.
He is Joe Turkel.
Uh-huh.
He ends up in Paths of Glory, and most famously, he's the bartender in The Shining.
Oh.
That's Lloyd the bartender. Look at him young.
Look at him.
Isn't he
So
cute?
precious. This guy here who's with him, he looks super familiar, but I think he looks like,
This is a Reservoir Dogs moment right here.
yes.
Because everybody shoots each other, basically, and...
Love his face.
And I love how quickly everybody was murdered.
Yes.
Right then. Like, seriously. It didn't even feel like there was enough gunshots for that to happen. Everybody's dead. And Elijah is dying.
Yes.
And basically he's gonna survive for a little bit. And it's gonna be pretty fun. It's fun that he survived for a little bit. But, so he was working on the Aryan Papers, Stanley. And he got very depressed while he was working on it. Because it was a very depressing topic. And, recreating this Holocaust of all these people was horrible for him.
Yeah.
His wife kept telling him, you can't do this. Like, this is killing you. This is not good. And he's like, yeah, but whatever. And then basically what happened was Steven put out Schindler's List real quick. And because back in the day when he was working on Full Metal Jacket, because he takes a while to make his films. He takes his time and makes sure he does them right.
Yeah.
And by the time Full Metal Jacket had come out, Apocalypse Now had come out in 79, I think it was. Then Platoon came out right before Full Metal Jacket. It was almost one of those things where it's like, well, people keep beating me to the punch before I finish these films. So when he saw Schindler's List, he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm cutting it. And that was one where sets had been built, locations were, people were cast in it. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it was, boop, nope, no more. So he pulled the plug on that one, and Warner Brothers was like, well, you've got to make a movie. And he's like, well, we're not ready for AI yet. I'm still not there. But Warner Bros. Like, people are getting restless. You know, you haven't made a film since 1987 with Full Metal Jacket. Like, what are you doing? Like, and it was like, what, 93 around this time. So they were like, you've got to make something. Like, there was that guy that was impersonating him in real life, which John Malkovich played in a movie called Color Me Kubrick. So, and nobody had seen him in so long either, so nobody knew what he looked like. Like, people would come up to his door, knock on the door, and be like, hey, is Stanley home? And he's like, no, I'm sorry, he's not here. Because nobody really knew what he looked like, because he hadn't been in the public for so long. So, this is where he bought the terrible suitcase, and he's shoving money into it. God, I wish I had all that money.
Yeah, so does he.
I wish I was just came upon this scene later where there's all these bills laying around and they didn't fit in the suitcase.
Yeah, even like by today's money standard, like 'cause those all just look like ones.
Well, still.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I could buy lunch.
No, absolutely.
A lot of lunches.
I could buy this movie on Blu-ray.
Yeah, you could. You could. Yeah, that suitcase is shitty, dude. You should. I mean, he should have cut it off right now. He should have been nope, not working.
When people are under pressure, they make poor choices.
Poor choices. So Elijah Cook has been shot, and he made his way home, dying, to encounter his wife, who's packing up her suitcase to leave with her lover. But her lover's dead.
Oh, look, that bird is definitely stuffed.
Oh yeah, that bird is fake.
Yeah. Well, that's because there's a loud scene here, like a gunshot. Is that right?
What's that? I'm sorry?
Is there a gunshot here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I felt weird because I thought I was going to be spoiling it, but we do that.
We tend to do that anyway. I mean, this film's been out since what, 1950?
Come on, 6.
So you guys have had time to watch it, and we warned you ahead of time that we were doing this one.
Yeah. Listen to the sound of that fake bird.
Fake bird.
Yeah.
I love that bed. Look at
top.
that bed. I love everything about this. Love that wallpaper back there.
Yes. Love it.
She has a lot of Asian influence in here.
She does.
Her death is so great. I mean, it's not... You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Her acting for it is... There's no blood. Not like anything. Not even a man. Just a bad joke without a punchline, and then she dies.
A bite.
That's one of the best deaths ever. She insults him until the moment she's dead. Now that's a real bird.
Yeah.
For that close-up. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, United.
Oh,
United Artists, United Airlines.
Look at that. Look at that.
That was a Stanley, clever. He's like, oh, let's get that United plane in there because United Artists giving us some of that money. So anyway, so they basically, Warner Bros. Told Stanley, you need to make a film. Whatever you want, we don't care. Just make a film.
Yeah, produce something.
And he's like, anything? Anything I want? So he pulled Trauma Novel out. Was like, let's make Eyes Wide Shut. And then he took forever to make it because he knew, like I said, he had it in his head since 1960.
Yeah.
But then when he was making it, he got very stressed out.
Look at that dog. So cute.
Here's the doggy.
It's like a little toy poodle.
Well, I wonder why there's a dog focused in this scene.
There's a dog focused in the beginning, or not in the beginning when he was when they were shooting on the range.
Oh yeah, look at that. A little foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. I just have an eye for small dogs.
And this we're gonna try to check. He wants to take this gigantic suitcase on the flight with him, but they're like, "Fuck no, bitch! This thing's too big. You have to check that shit." He's like, "Oh no! I'm Sterling Hayden. No. Say no." He really does sound like that, by the way. I'm doing a pretty good impersonation of Sterling Hayden.
Yeah, pretty spot on. I can't tell if you're talking or if he is.
I know, it's crazy. It's like he's in the room. So anyway, so Stanley, Eyes Wide Shut took a long frickin' time to make it because he knew what he wanted. Several actors were replaced during it. Like, they filmed their entire part, and then he was like,
"Nope,
not
doesn't
quite
work.
right," and gotta fix it. So anyway, so he took his time. He made sure it was done correctly. The filmmaking techniques were fantastic. He was going to use his cameras from Barry Lyndon, the Zeiss lens cameras, which we didn't talk about. We're definitely going to bring that up in Barry Lyndon when we do that.
Well, right, yeah.
Because there's way too much to talk about for Barry Lyndon.
Well, yeah, no, I expect a lot to be discussed during Barry Lyndon, since that is one of your
It is my
all-time
favorite
favorites.
film.
Yep.
Without a doubt. My favorite film ever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so he was going to bring those cameras back to film Eyes Wide Shut, but then he was like, wait a minute. He's like, I could just photograph it, as well as we can with the cameras that we have, and then oversaturate or overexpose the footage in the process of developing the footage, which is what he did. So that's why it has like a weird,
It's a risky move
glow.
too.
Yeah.
Mess that up.
You could mess that up. But it has that beautiful, weird glow about the film that makes the whole thing very surreal,
Yes.
which was on purpose. Like, it's supposed to feel that way. Martin Scorsese said something really fascinating about it. He's like, I was watching that movie and it's like watching New York City, but New York City in a dream. And I was like, that is perfect. Because that's what Stanley was going for. So, anyway, so once he made it and he showed it to the executives at Warner Brothers, and he was nervous as hell. She said, like his wife said, it was just a whole lot of pressure on him for this film to work out correctly.
Yeah.
And his health started getting kind of weird about that time. Like where he was having trouble breathing and stuff like that. So it was obviously affecting him to make this film. And then he showed it to the executives, and the executives got back to him and said, oh my God, we love this film. This is amazing. And she said the relief of that is what killed him. He went to bed that night and never woke up.
Wow.
Isn't that sad? It's horrifying.
Huh.
He died making his film.
I should probably really rewatch that movie.
It's a gorgeous film. Uh-oh!
Oh no!
And there it is. The money shot. Oh, literally! It's literally
so
the money
funny
shot.
how-
I wonder if that's where that term came from.
Probably not.
It probably is. Stanley! Everything comes from Stanley. Stanley originated everything. I was actually going to say, in the history of filmmaking, because when you talk about... I know, he's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, darling, we got to get out of here. Your money's all over the place. And that fucking little dog. You gotta love this music. Gerald Fried did the music for this. He did the music for the first 4 Stanley Kubrick films.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Oh, I think he also did work for Dr. Strangelove or How We Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, but there wasn't a whole lot to do for that because he used some pre-existing music and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Which is where that kind of started. It started about that time. Because famously, Stanley used pre-existing music for 2001: A Space Odyssey. All the songs that he had used as to edit the film, because they usually use like classical pieces of music or some other music of some sort to edit to get a pace.
And then they have
a score person come in and just score it.
Yeah, there's a theory that that's why a lot of movies sound like other movies, because people will put in the scores from other movies because that's like a general feeling that they want to portray.
Absolutely.
And then after they edit the movie to that music, but obviously they can't use that music, and so they tell their sound designers and composers to like make it just like that, but also not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Stanley, obviously, for 2001: A Space Odyssey, he just chose to keep those things. And the score, which was written by Alex North, who did the score for Spartacus, he wrote a score.
Yeah.
But Stanley didn't use that.
Aww.
And he was like, wait a minute, but there's no score. And it was eventually released, and honestly... Sorry, Alex, but no, I like the way it was. It was way better with Stanley's temporary score. Which is fascinating, too, because Stanley did that a lot with, like, even starting with 2001: A Space Odyssey. He used, like, I want to say it was Bela Bartok. I think that's how you say the name. But his music is so freaking weird. Like, you listen to it and you're like, this existed before this. Like you would think that it was written specifically for the film to fit the certain kind of atmosphere that Stanley wanted. Like The Shining is a great example. Same composer.
Yeah.
He used some of his music. And you listen to it outside of the film. Like if you just, like I have the soundtrack on vinyl, which is very, very rare and hard to find. because it had to be taken out of print because they didn't have the rights to all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So they released it before that, and I have a copy of it.
He rose the roof. John did.
I
just
rose
now.
the roof
Yeah.
because I have that, and it's gorgeous too. With the yellow, the Saul Bass artwork. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Anyway, not the point. So he uses previous music. You listen to it, and you're like, it's alarming that music existed before. Like, that was written for just the sake of writing it from the artist. But it's like, it sounds like it should be for The Shining. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it's so fucking creepy. You're like, what the hell kind of person wrote this shit? And then the fact that Stanley Kubrick at some point owned this record of some sort that had this music on it. It was like, you listen to this, like, sitting in your living room with headphones? Like, I just... like, it's such a bizarre kind of thing. And same with 2001, like, the piece that he used for the opening, for the... What do you call that? The...
Monolith?
entrance music and exit music. Mm-hmm. It was called, I think it's a piece called Atmospheres, and it's just like has these weird voices and like it's like,
love it.
What? So fucking creepy, but it works. It's perfect. All of it is because it's Stanley.
Yeah,
So we did our first Stanley film.
we did.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
Well, I did probably talk a lot.
Yeah, but it's also like this is your thing.
My wheelhouse, if you will.
Yeah.
Stanley's in my wheelhouse.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
Somebody notify his next of kin.
Oh gosh. Oh, please do. I want to meet them. Like, even his wife. I love his wife. His wife is in Paths of Glory. That's where they met.
His then they were not his first wife. Not
No.
the-
He has two, this would be his third
wives?
wife.
Okay. How
His
many
third-
wives? does Mr.
Christian
Kubrick have?
Kubrick. Three.
I was saying how many, but
Oh, three.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
already answered.
Ruth Sabatka or whatever was. I don't know if that was his first or second. And
Did all of them have some sort of hand in
films, yes. Well,
Then Ruth
I
may have
believe
been-
so.
Might have been first. If this is his second movie.
Well, no, she was in Killer's Kiss too. She was the ballerina
Right on.
in Killer's Kiss. So
Right, so I'm suggesting
was
that she
Ruth.
might be first because she was in this one, or she did something with this one.
yeah, but I think no. I think the first wife he had did not have anything to do with his films. Although she might have had something to do with his first film.
Toba Metz, 1951.
There you go.
48 to 51.
Oh yeah, she
Ruth.
was in. I'm pretty sure she's the girl in. Was she? She might have been the girl in Fear and Desire. Maybe not. She looks like her. Or maybe I just know her face.
Maybe you just know her face. Yeah.
It could be. She might not have been. But yeah, Ruth was the ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
And of course then she worked like behind the scenes for some of his stuff. Like
Yeah.
she was the art director for this one, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty.
And then of course Christiane right there. That's her in Paths of Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And when they met, he was doing the casting or whatever, and she came in, and she said he was like staring at me from over the across the room, whatever, and he's been staring at me ever since. I'm like, well, I mean, until he passed away.
No, he still stares. She kept his peepers.
Oh, maybe she did. Oh my! I gotta have his eyes. He's moved in a jar to put him wherever I want.
On the bedstand.
But she's an artist, and a lot of the painting, oddly enough, in the rape scene in A Clockwork Orange, I think it's Seed Box is the name of the piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
That's by her. And then all the artwork, I believe, well, not all, most of the artwork in Eyes Wide Shut is her. Like hanging on the walls everywhere. I think his daughter has maybe one of the paintings is by his daughter. I think. The cat. Which was his cat.
I don't think. Wait. The cat, I've seen stuff about that. I think it was a family friend that did it.
Maybe it was a family
It
friend.
was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
his cat,
I think,
and then he ended
yeah.
up hanging it up. It was like a big thing.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that one.
I knew it was not his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was his daughter or not. Maybe it wasn't his daughter.
No, I think it was a dude.
No, I think it was a woman. Pretty sure it was a girl. A woman that painted it.
Not a child.
Not a
small
child.
female
Not a
child.
boy.
Right on.
Anyway, so yeah. Oh, I guess we should probably end it for the folks at home that are still like, you guys can shut up now. We've watched the whole movie, and we did this all in one piece. So this is all, you're gonna get all of it at once. No two-parters for this one.
Right
Not
on.
for my Stanley. Although when we do Eyes Wide Shut, no, well, any of
Any of
his
the
longer
others,
ones.
yeah. Anything after the next one? The next,
Well,
what was it?
Paths-
Doctor Strange.
Paths of Glory,
Love.
Lolita. No,
haven't
Lolita
stopped
was after
remembering.
Strangelove. So it was Spartacus, but we don't have to do Spartacus. Ooh, it's not one of my favorites. It wasn't his either. It was a job.
And that's how you justify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's not one of my favorites in general. Like, I don't even like if it hadn't been Stanley Kubrick directing, I would not own that movie.
I believe that.
I don't like it. It's not very good. I mean, it has some good moments for sure, and those are all due to Stanley. But he came in as a favor for Kirk Douglas to make that, and that's a good story. We'll talk about that when we do Paths of Glory, though. When we don't do Spartacus, we'll talk about that. But Spartacus, doing Spartacus, the job was what gave him more opportunity to do whatever he wanted.
Right.
Because it was like, well, now I made this big fucking picture that was an epic goddamn thing that made you goddamn money. Give me some motherfucking money and I'm gonna make my goddamn movies. So he made Doctor Strangelove, or How We Learned to Stop Wearing Another Bomb,
Yes.
and a moving picture.
There we go.
And then he did, because of the success of that, and he was like, well, I can do whatever I want. Let's make Lolita. So he did Lolita. Wait a minute, is that right? Am I doing the right order?
Lolita was
Yeah,
after.
yes.
Yeah.
No, Lolita was after, I'm sorry, I messed that up. Lolita was after Spartacus. And then he got to do Doctor Strangelove.
Okay.
Then Doctor Strangelove led into 2001: A Space Odyssey.
You know what? I'm
All
not
right.
gonna argue with you.
I just got it messed up for a minute. I knew the success of Spartacus is what made him want to do something crazy. So he did Lolita.
Yeah.
Which was and even the posters, they all say, how did they ever make a film of Lolita? Because it was such a raunchy thing. And he had to film it in England. Because he had to have a young actress playing this part where she's having sex with an old dude.
And the Americans would not have
The
it.
Americans are like, nope. Well, they also had child labor laws and everything. So to get around all that, he moved to England. And then he basically kind of never came back.
He couldn't get twins
Twins? What?
for child labor laws. So
Oh,
Like
to get
TV
around
would
that.
get
so that-
around,
'cause they have to take breaks and all kinds of shit.
yeah, you just work one of them to death, and then you'd work the other to death.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just do it in shifts.
Yes.
Okay, see, I was right. I'm sorry.
I was
messed it
double,
up a
I
little
was
bit.
double checking 2001. So it was right after.
After Strangelove.
The Blu-ray I have of that one is a little book. I love it.
That's the Criterion release.
Is it?
Yeah, right?
Maybe.
Black and white cover.
Yes.
With
With
the
the blue.
bomb. Blue?
There's a blue stripe on it.
No, I don't know. Oh, no, you have I think you have the book edition.
That's what I said.
Well, I thought you had the card. Never mind. It wasn't like this.
No.
No.
It's a book.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I used to have that one. With Stanley Films, I don't keep
I may
every
have-
single version.
I'm pretty sure I bought that one when I was with you.
You might have
No.
bought my copy of it from Movie Stop.
No. Not, I didn't buy it at Movie Stop. I bought it
No?
at Sound Exchange.
Well, that could have been mine too.
Yeah.
Depending on where I got rid of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Stanley Films, I opted to always upgrade.
Yes.
So I don't keep older versions.
Right.
Like, I don't have my old VHS
Oh,
collection.
you're crazy.
I don't have my original DVD collection, which it would be fascinating to have, because when they did the first collection, like I said, when Stanley was alive, they put out his collection purposely, well, you know, because it's Stanley Kubrick and they could, but they also did it to make money to restore his films. Like
Okay.
the ones that they released, he was actually working on trying to restore them. So that was their way of kind of like generating some money so they could restore all of them. And then that's why there's a remastered collection that came out. Well, that came out probably after he passed away. But he had worked on all those restorations himself, so he was there for all of them.
Yeah.
And in fact, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Wearing the Bomb, the version that you see most often is his personal copy because they lost the original negative. Don't know where it went.
Gotta hold on to that stuff.
Yeah.
People be
I
messing
don't think
up
he was
with
very happy
Technicolor.
about
Ain't
that.
Nobody, yeah.
Well,
No place is safe.
That was in black and white, but, you know.
Well, no, I mean, like...
Oh. There's no Technicolor in Dr. Strangelove
Well,
or
yeah.
How I Learned to Stop Wearing the Bomb. You're going to kill me with that.
I don't understand how you can do it always for Tu Wong Fu.
Thanks for everything, Julie. That's just like you kind of have to. I don't know.
Like outside of podcasting, outside of anything, anytime anyone has ever brought up Tu Wong Fu, it has
Thanks for
been
everything, Julie Newmar.
like it's like a trigger.
It is like
Yeah,
a tick.
yeah. Johnny loves full titles. Like you
I
won't
do.
shorten a person's name
No,
or
I
anything
don't
like
like
that.
that
Yeah,
either. And yeah,
yeah,
well, you know. Anyway, so I'm sorry, guys. We're keeping you.
yeah. It's
You
time to go.
You got things to do. You got
People to see.
people to see, and
Jobs
can't
to
be sitting
work.
here with headphones on the whole time.
If you wear headphones.
Sitting in your car, dying in the heat because you want to finish this episode.
If you live
I
in
gotta
Florida.
go and get ice cream. Okay, guys.
Alright.
So, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, please,
And-
please, and do other things too.
And other services,
Oh,
it's still
BTW.
valuable to have
I mean, I haven't checked our,
subscribing, rating, reviewing,
checked our
liking,
email.
sharing.
so I don't know if anybody won that contest that we set out
Let's,
drunkenly.
you know what? Let's edit this out and double check.
I'm not gonna edit
This
it,
guy
yeah.
does not edit.
Nope. But maybe you won.
Yeah. So congratulations.
Congratulations to the winners. Beep 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 boop. That's your name. And
It's Gina Davis.
oh my god, it's Gina Davis! Yes, it's absolutely Gina Davis. So yeah, so
Tune in next week where we watch
oh.
Galaxy Quest.
I'm so excited. She sprung that on me right.
I
second.
I sure did.
It's her choice, so I'm so excited. Oh my god. Oh, so yeah.
Alrighty. Bye bye.